Hello everybody, my name is Joey. I'm part of the Chart Guys team. I've been a trader and technical analyst for 7 years, learning under Dan for 6 of them, and I'm here to talk about some crypto as we have Bitcoin still kind of trying to shape up a monthly higher low, and altcoins are similarly trying to shift some momentum, but make no mistake, bears are still in control in the intermediate term. But as we're looking for those larger time frame higher lows, it's important to know what do we need to see to know that these are beginning to shape on up. So that's what we're going to check in on here this Friday before we head into the weekend so we can get prepped for what to look for next week. So let's just get on into the charts. We're looking at the Bitcoin monthly chart here, and we know we've got monthly consolidation underway, and we know as long as we hold the monthly 12 EMA that it is healthy. So we're still holding it at this point, and bulls are trying to shift some momentum, but there's more work to be done. And something that I'll continue to bring up now that it's a bit more relevant. We were talking about it back here in May, but now that we're back down to new lows, I do want to revisit the historic percentage pullbacks on breaking a monthly stair step. So higher low every candle pattern. Once you break that from all-time highs, historically on Bitcoin, it averages a 38% pullback from where the break happens. So that would be right around 37K with where we stand now. And there is one big outlier in that data set. So if we take that out, it drops to 32%. So still obviously much further than where we're at now. We've definitely had pullbacks in history that were as shallow as this one is. So not saying that we need to, it's foolish to be looking bullish before 32% or something like that. It's just to keep our minds open to the potential that, maybe we get a deeper pullback. Maybe Ethereum forms a 6-month lower high and everything just kind of continues to tighten on up. No signs of that yet, but always going to keep our minds open to that idea. So here we are back looking at the Bitcoin monthly chart. Let's zoom in and see what we got going on here. So I'm really liking the 2-day time frame at this point. The daily got a little funky with the daily trend change without follow through. Could be a bear flag. Could certainly be a bear flag, but I would say bulls have bounced enough on the 2-day chart to decrease the odds that bears can just go straight down. If they were to go straight down, like they did back here in the beginning of July, they would need that increasing bear volume. So we have 2-day 12 EMA resistance, and bulls got to get up and over with a trend change to start to shape up this monthly higher low. And ultimately that would be like a weekly bounce beginning to take place. And then we'll need to do the same thing on the weekly if we want to have full confidence in a monthly higher low being set. So just watching that 2-day chart, keeping it simple. Trading's a complicated game, but we can make it simple and say that as long as price is below the 2-day 12 EMA, then Bitcoin bears maintain intermediate control. It can keep us from getting too excited about bounces up where we're just looking for lower highs, and it can allow us to know when it's go time once we get up and over. So zooming in a bit more here for some intermediate structure, decent 4-hour bounce underway. And what that does, getting over the 50% retrace of this pullback, is it decreases the odds that bears can confirm a 4-hour downtrend and get that 2-day consolidation underway. And if bulls want to just keep the show on the road, they want to regain the 4-hour uptrend from here. And let's look at the daily and see what types of implications that would have. That would basically be a daily higher low being set and give bulls a chance to try to see continuation of this daily uptrend. So I'm liking the 2-day. I also like the daily, and sometimes that's how it is. Other times there's very clear, like, all right, we're just watching the daily and the weekly here, but sometimes you got to piece together some different time frames because they tell different stories. If you're just looking at the daily here, that looks like a 2 or 3-day bear flag, which it certainly could be. You got the daily trend change without follow through, which is the hallmark of a flag. But we'll just go one step at a time because we can also see the story of where it's a decent bounce for bulls and they're just trying to sort their stuff out. So that's what we got going on with Bitcoin. Ethereum, a much stronger bounce. We'll start zoomed out though before we get into that. So testing monthly 12 EMA, trying to hold that to keep things healthy. If we were to lose that, that would increase the odds that a 6-month lower high is shaping up. And similarly, liking the 2-day downtrend, 2-day 12 EMA here, and bulls have a lot more space to form a 2-day higher low next round of consolidation and attempt a 2-day uptrend to try to shape up that monthly higher low. So looking at the daily here, we have daily consolidation underway, rejecting from daily EMAs, and bulls want to officially confirm a daily uptrend. Bitcoin, we had it because this was a technical daily bounce, but with this still being a lower high every daily candle pattern, despite clearly bouncing, that's a 12-hour bounce. That's not a daily bounce. If we zoom into the 12-hour, we can see we got a 12-hour uptrend. That can be a decent guide for this move. So not unanimous clarity on the same time frames across all names, and that's okay. It just means that we got to work a little bit harder at understanding what the heck is going on. So 4 hours is going to be a similar deal to Bitcoin, where if bears can confirm a 4-hour downtrend, that's deeper daily consolidation, perhaps 2-day consolidation shaping up. If bulls can regain a 4-hour uptrend, then that is a quick daily higher low shaping up and an attempt to go up and actually get that tag on the 2-day 12 EMA. So as everybody here knows, I care almost more about ETH BTC than I do about Bitcoin. And we got the tightening range that we were talking about from last stream. Bigger picture context, we know monthly 12 EMA is the guide. We got double monthly inside bars. Bulls need to get over monthly 12 EMA and need to get the first weekly uptrend in ages. It's been since back here in December 2022 since we've had one. So shorter term bulls want this just to remain healthy and see the bull break and get over monthly 12 EMA. Bulls who have a little more vision on them, I guess you could say, really wouldn't mind the bear break of this range as long as it doesn't see follow through. It would need to be snapped up pretty much by 5 cents or something like that. And the reason why bulls with a longer term, not necessarily longer term view, but bulls who just want to get it over with. And when I say it, I mean monthly consolidation. Because even if let me get rid of these lines here, even if we do just go up through monthly 12 EMA, we'll still eventually need a monthly uptrend. And bulls really wouldn't mind getting the rejection, seeing healthy consolidation, and then getting the monthly trend change along with that and further increase the odds that we have a yearly bull flag on ETH BTC. So just going to watch us continuing to tighten up, looking for a lower high compared to 56.30. And as for a guide on this move, probably 12-hour uptrend. Yes, that's what we've got. So 12-hour uptrend will be our guide within this tightening range as we look for a lower high. And then we'll have to see which direction this breaks. And obviously, we're still awaiting ETF news and updates and when are those going to start trading and all this, that, and the other thing. And I would anticipate that that will bring some life into ETH. So always staying on top of those headlines. We'll take a quick peek in on LTC. We'll just start with LTC BTC. We know LTC has been a lead bull over the last week, one of our better bouncers, and we're testing weekly 12 EMA. We know if bulls don't get over weekly 12 EMA, nothing changes. I've said it a bajillion times at this point, and here we are testing it again. So is this time going to be different and bulls are going to push through, or is it going to be a good opportunity to seek out relative weakness on LTC? Time will tell. If we look at LTC itself, we can see the sturdiness of its bounce, much sturdier than peers, and similarly, kind of like in the 2-day 12 EMA. So we're coming up into that. And if you were looking for weekly 12 EMA rejection on LTC BTC to take a short on LTC USD, let's see what we would do. Maybe we got an EMA that we're riding. Perfect. 4-hour 12 EMA. So you could say, all right, when we lose 4-hour 12 EMA on LTC, as long as LTC BTC is also rejecting from weekly 12 EMA, I'm going to look to take a short. So got to respect that bulls have room for a 2-day higher low, but that can certainly be a worthwhile 10% move down with the wind at your back with the ratio chart coming down as well. So what else we got? We'll check in on SOL. It's continuing to tighten. We know that it's on the radar now, or the map now, for ETF excitement, and pretty much our only chart that we were watching these 2-week tightening ranges. It's pretty much the only one still holding that 2-week higher low, and bulls hoping to continue to tighten up within here. So ultimately got to get back up and through 155 if that's going to be the case, and barring any news or increasing bull volume, we would then look for another lower high compared to 188.89. As far as what's going on the smaller time frames, not a lot of clarity here, kind of chopping around. So when that happens, I typically zoom in more, and either you zoom in and zoom out. You just try to find the clarity. So I like to zoom in a little bit and lean on like the intermediate time frame, which in this case would be the 4 hour, within the structure of like, I don't know, 2-day or 3-day. Let's see. So 2-day, we can just view this as an EQ. And this is the beauty of this. So looking at the daily, we have like daily uptrend confirmed, no follow through, flush down. We'll call that a double bottom, slight lower lows without follow through. Daily trend change, no follow through, pull back. It's tough to make sense of it. But if we look at the 2-day, we can just see that this is just a tightening range. Just a tightening range as long as you consider that a double bottom. So 121 is our support down there. Anything over that would be a 2-day higher low. And bulls need to break this 2-day EQ to the upside to begin to shape up a 2-week higher low. What else we got? Let's see. Who are our wedges? So AIOZ, we're testing monthly 12 EMA. We're looking for a higher low. We got this kind of fugly falling wedge. We still have relative weakness compared to peers, but not going to sleep on it. If bulls are going to prove something, they got to get through 45.06 as step one, but ultimately need to break the wedge to the upside to say, all right, we got a weekly bounce shaping up. We got a monthly higher low shaping up. And that is that. Who else? Link's got a 2-week falling wedge. Where you at, Link? We'll just type you in. You're in here somewhere. There you are. Got it. So Link, we're looking for a quarterly higher low. We have a 2-week falling wedge with these lower lows not seeing follow through. And I'll pop to the quarterly chart real quick just so we can view that. Big move up, looking for the higher low. If bears were really rocking and rolling, they would have seen follow through on this bear break. They would have seen follow through on this bear break. So it would probably require Bitcoin holding monthly 12 EMA if this falling wedge is going to be viable here on Link. And time will tell. So as far as what we've got going on, daily 12 EMA resistance, bulls got to get up and over that to say, all right, they're really holding this wedge support line, and lots of room. If we look at it on the weekly or 2-week, I guess we'll just stick with the 2-week. Lots of room for a lower high next bounce compared to 1922, and ultimately going to need to do something like that if we're talking about a quarterly higher low shaping on up. What else we got? Doge has got nice daily 12 EMA resistance, week. Let's go to the 2-week and see, this is that tightening range that Sol's still holding, that Link is barely seeing lower lows. Doge with a lot of follow through. Doge with a lot of follow through, but we're still looking for a quarterly higher low and not going to sleep on Doge. And if Doge bulls are going to show up, they got to get over daily 12 EMA. Very clear there at this point. And bears looking for crisp and clean shorts where you would be invalidated quickly. You can be playing off of that daily 12 EMA. And a decent number of alts, I think, have that. I think ICP, daily 12 EMA resistance. And that's that. TRB, what are you doing? So it's been quite weak still. Still never really got its mojo back after that rando beast run that it had. So what do we got? We're looking for a monthly higher low? Yeah, so we are looking for a monthly higher low compared to 41.44. If that's going to shape up, step one's going to be getting over like 12-hour 12 EMA. Is that what we got? Yeah. So 12-hour 12 EMA, you got to get over that. You got to get over daily 12 EMA. So a lot of work ahead. Has relative strength here today, but more so just it's been getting crushed harder than peers. Now it's bouncing a bit more. So that's all I'm really looking at here today. Let's talk about the weekend and Bitcoin. I don't know that there's really a most likely scenario. Sometimes we have very clear tightening ranges where it's like, this is probably going to tighten up through the weekend. But I wouldn't say that is what we've got going on here now. So we'll just take it as it comes. Leaning on the 4-hour, knowing what bulls need to do on the 2-day to have implications expand out to the monthly. So that is the focus for the time being. Something worth noting is we had a very bearish day in the broad market yesterday, but I'm always talking about rotation. If you have rotation in the markets, everything is chill for a bull bigger picture. You don't want to be bearish, or you don't want to be bullish in a name that's relatively weak, but we know a healthy market sees rotation. Huge pullback in NQ, and that led to a solid pullback in SPY. But if we look at the Russell, it was just pure rotation. I've never seen rotation like this in my career, where tech is just dumping like mad, and small caps are just pumping. So we do still have rotation. But, yesterday at the end of the day, there was a little bit of uncertainty of like, okay, big bear volume, solid pullback. Is this going to turn into something bigger or is it not? So got to be keeping eyes on that. At this point, retracing almost all of the move, the S&P 500 sure seems like it's doing fine. But we'll keep eyes on that. Not going to sleep on miners. I know we haven't been talking about them much because look at what they're doing. They're just tightening on up. But volatility will be coming back tomorrow. Riot, CLSK. I mean, CLSK, that's getting tight, and we've been doing it for months now. So nothing really to do at this point unless you're playing the balance area, long off the lows, short off the highs. That's totally fine. But I personally will just be waiting until we get a break of these ranges and for volatility to open back up. So that's all I've got. We'll pop into chat. I figured, Friday, midday, probably not going to be a lot of folks here. Got 48. Thank y'all for tuning in on this lovely Friday. What's up, Ryan, my fellow truck guy? The Money Bum, what up? Stay frosty always, man. Dylan Valentine, shalom. Let's see. Oh, right. Ryan V. I love that Ryan comes into the streams because he's just so on top of it. Bitcoin dominance. We're testing 2-week 12 EMA. This has been our guide for quite some time. And as long as that's the case, the status quo remains. Bitcoin is king daddy for the time being. What alt bulls want to see is lose 2-week 12 EMA and have that be alts going up more than Bitcoin. So that's what you want on a break in terms of what relationship of Bitcoin's stronger than alts do you get, because the other option is we could pull back and that could just be Bitcoin pulling back harder than altcoins, and that's no fun. And of course, when you continue up, that can be Bitcoin going up more than altcoins, or that can be altcoins going down more than Bitcoin. So there's always going to be four possibilities with the direction of Bitcoin dominance, and you got to look around. Even if you're Bitcoin maxing, don't trade alts. You definitely want to be looking at alts for clues, and that can be said for these quarterly, monthly, high or low hunts, is that if we start to see alts, get those set. I mean, folks that have been tuning into the streams for a while, you can see how we can kind of sniff out all of these moves. I forget the last one. We had I think it was a bunch of daily or 2-day tightening ranges that just one by one, they all started popping. And once one pops, then you look around, you look at ratio charts to try to see where we can anticipate another to pop, or you can just wait. But going to be playing the same thing with our daily and 2-day 12 EMAs as we look for monthly and or quarterly higher lows on a lot of these names. And oftentimes it's the alts leading the way on these things. So gotta be watching your alts. And at this point, nobody's really making any standout moves for that, at least of the names that are within the kind of common structure that we're seeing across the market right now. Yo, Red Chan, what up? Thanks for tuning in from Ireland. My grandma's not full Irish, but I think she's 3/4 or a half or something. So I'm definitely a mutt, but Irish, Italian are my two primary heritages. All right, we'll just wrap it up there. Pretty quick stream, 20 minutes. Not a ton to say, as there's not a ton of action going on, and bulls and bears are just duking it out, trying to get some monthly higher lows set, trying to get some quarterly higher lows set, trying to avoid unhealthy monthly consolidation that could then increase the odds of 6-month consolidation or something like that. So we'll just take it one step at a time. We'll be keeping eyes on the broad market to see if anything notable shifts there, because that would likely bleed over into the crypto space. We'll keep an eye on our ETF headlines. I feel like we've got to be due for a fresh ETH candle to be dangled in front of us. So perhaps we'll get some updates next week. And that is that. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. It's one of the best times of the year, and we can't forget that it's going to be winter again before we know it. Time flies when you're having a good time. So enjoy the summer. Ria, we talked about miners a little bit. They're all just tightening up. And bulls are playing long off the lows. Bears are playing short off the highs. If you want to be in there on that tightening range, potentially trying to position ahead of time, But for me personally, I'm just waiting for the ranges to break, volatility and opportunity to open on up, because I mean they've been sleepy for a couple months now, 3 months really. So that is that. Thanks for tuning in. Do good things, and I will see you all next time.